Really? I wish I wasn't dead sliding.
No, 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 don't. Gibby's in front of me, Gibby's in front of me, Gibby's in front of me. So much better.
Hi everyone, it's Sarah, and I've had a nice break from not making content, but I'm very happy to be back with Apex Improvement Diaries episode 4. I have a lot to talk about today, so let's get into it. I've noticed a significant amount of people saying in my comments, no one cares about your mental in Apex, and mental doesn't matter in Apex. But I'm going to keep talking about the mental and emotional side of FPS gaming, especially in Apex. I genuinely believe that your mental state affects how you play in the game. If you keep beating yourself up mentally, if you make one mistake and start going in that downward spiral of thoughts, then you're going to play worse. It's going to reflect in your gameplay. But no one ever wants to talk about that because they don't want to admit that sometimes we have bad mental days. Mental is so important because it affects how you play that day. It affects how you view yourself and how you view your own skill set. And that's going to reflect in what you do in the game. If you genuinely believe for that day that you're a bad player, you're going to play like a bad player. How many times have you made a mistake in the game and then you start thinking, wow, I'm such a bad player. And then you start playing worse and then it keeps piling on top of that, like, wow, I'm so bad. And then you start playing even worse. And people want to say that mental doesn't matter. It does. And I'm going to keep talking about the mental aspects and encouraging you guys to share your experiences and feelings with me. This past week in particular, I was struggling a lot. I was just angry and upset at very little things. I'm not perfect, and if I had it all figured out, I wouldn't be making this series. And this is not Stefan's fault at all, but I'm about to show you a clip where he had 4,000 damage. He got it super easily because he's very good at the game. And I immediately saw that number and I started comparing myself. And I know I shouldn't have, but it just is what happened. Okay. Watching that back, the silence kind of breaks my heart because I know what that led into and I was so upset for that day. But that's why I took a break. I still struggle with numbers a lot. I'm doing a lot better than when I first started, yeah, but I still have days like that where I start doubting my own skills and I start doubting if I could ever achieve something like that. I'm going to work on it with myself and with the therapist, but I'm going to keep updating you guys on that stuff because I think it's important to see progress, not just in gameplay, but in mental state as well, which will reflect in gameplay, so it all connects together. Sorry, this building's confusing.
Okay.
Good job, Sarah.
The past week, I have been working on my movement with Daz's help. He is a fantastic coach, and I appreciate him so much for helping me with this.
At some point, you're going to need to change it. You're stalling too much in your movement. Your movement is too janky, even under pressure.
It was pointed out that my movement was not the best, and I was really reluctant to change my scroll wheel down to jump. In my mind, it just felt like such a cheese to have your scroll wheel just put in so many inputs for something. And I don't know, I didn't judge people that did it. I just judged myself if I were to do it, but I caved in finally. I just embraced the change and it's been making my movement feel a whole lot better. I don't know if you guys have noticed any difference in my gameplay, but I don't know, my friends have told me that there's been a difference. It took a bit of getting used to relearn some keybinds, but I've gotten used to it now very easily. It took about an hour for me to adjust to some new keybinds and exclusively changing my weapons with my numbers.
But essentially, it's scroll wheel down, and you're just moving A and D left and right. But what you're going to do afterwards, it all comes down to your mouse movement.
Okay.
You realistically don't even need to press A or D on the keyboard. It comes down to F scroll wheel and you moving your mouse. So if you're ever trying to get away,
Ooh!
This is another one of those movements of how you get it 10 out of 10 times. There you go. Look at that. Ooh! That's looking good right there. That's sharp. So you essentially do that all the time. You can do this while you're in the World's Edge building and how you get that nice, like, fluid movement, you know? That looks really sharp. There you go. Nice, nice, nice. That's it right there. All these movement techs are easy to do on Horizon, or easier. They're also a little easier to do on Pathfinder because you add in like a grapple. Oh. There you go. That's really sharp. It took me forever to figure out how he was so consistent, but it all comes down to the scroll wheel. And then once you piece it together in game, you'll be harder to hit as a lifeline. You'll catch up with your team a lot faster. You'll have these are what I consider your outs as well. It's like you pop one cell and you can literally just keep moving and moving and moving, you know? Mm-hmm. So imagine the amount of space and time that you can save bunny hop healing with a cell and keeping momentum into the next fight. You'll get the timing of it. It's going to feel really awkward at first, but you've already learned really, really quickly.
And remember, I talked about this in the past, but you have to actively practice what you want to work on, which is what I've been doing. Maybe in my video it looked a bit excessive because I was just bunny hopping everywhere, but it was just so I could get used to it and build the habit of doing it, and then I can apply it where I want to. It's just me doing it constantly was just my way of making myself remember that, hey, I can do this movement. Here are some clips from the past week with the movement stuff that I've learned.
Oh, fuck. What the
Porting back here.
Okay. Respectfully stop shooting, my friend.
I'm like, literally one shot.
How are they not hitting me at all? Also, I know that turning on the dummies in the firing range is a thing. I just have forgot to use it in the past, I don't know, however many months that I haven't been doing it.
All right, now let's go turn on the target dummies and tell people how to practice. This is how you should practice too, Sarah. This is how I practice. The beauty is that we have some targets moving around, even just a little bit, to kind of help you improve. So use the gun that you feel the least comfortable with. Zigzag as you're going up. Practice the pattern in just a straight line. I definitely recommend zigzagging it. If you can master the zigzag going up and down using different various weaponry, then you're going to really succeed as a Horizon because you're so used to that movement.
In a previous video, I said that I wanted to work on my close range aim because it got weaker, but since then it has gotten a lot stronger again. I will show you guys. I swear I heard a step. Wait, I hear—
I cracked one.
Yeah, I just cracked that one that peeked around the corner. My positioning has gotten a lot better. It still needs some work in some areas, but overall I've noticed my positioning has gotten way better. I also think I'm very strong at mind games in Apex and also predicting what the enemy is going to do, as I'm going to show here. Why are you guys all looking at me?
He's got stuck on literally nothing right there. That was dope. Oh, yes!
There's no window there.
Alright, come at me. Since the last episode, I have improved my looting time. I loot way faster now. I would like to work on my confidence because that is still low. I have still been aim training. I'm always going to say that. You guys know that by now. But I specifically want to talk about why I don't like grid shot. And I think that it looks cool on Twitter clips and all that, and people getting 100k score and more. And for a while I actually was using it to put pressure on myself because I would click to the rhythm or beat of a metronome and just stress myself out that way so that when it came to in-game stress it wouldn't be as bad. During the time that I was doing grid shot very intensively, I did get to a high score of 95,000, but my aim in-game was suffering. For some reason, grid shot just does not work for me, and I think it's because the targets are so large and so static that it didn't really help me when it came to in-game movement, especially with my wingman. My wingman was just not hitting. And then once I stopped doing grid shot and did other things, my aim came back. In the past, when I did grid shot, it didn't help me that much either. And I think it's just one of those things that for me, personally, it just doesn't work. And please don't try to give me advice on this one particular thing I'm asking you guys, because I've just found that personally, it does not work for me. And I have tried to make it work for myself 3 different occasions on different timelines of my aim improvement journey. It just hasn't worked, and I feel like it's one of those things where, like exercises, it doesn't work for everybody because we're all different. Let's say if you do a cable kickback for your glutes, it may grow someone's glutes more than someone else. It's still the same exercise with the same weight, but it may work better for someone else. Again, I'll leave it at that. It does not work for me, but it has worked for my friends, so if you want to give it a try, then by all means do it. I remember the night of the 4K damage thing, I was just crying, sobbing, bawling my eyes out again. And I don't ever want that to happen again. I was just really struggling mentally this past week, and that was just one of those moments where I just needed to release some emotion. But I don't ever want myself to get that upset over Apex again, it's just a game. I need to give myself more credit in general. When it comes to myself, it's hard for me to see any type of change, but all of my friends have noticed that I have gotten a lot better lately, and I guess it's hard for me to see because I see myself every single day and I'm editing my own clips, so I'm seeing the same stuff over and over, so it's hard for me to notice any real improvement and progress. But Stefan has told me to just acknowledge the plays that I make, still a work in progress. Also, I talked to Stefan and I don't want to make the whole improvement in Apex thing part of my entire identity. I still like making my videos where I just do silly things with my friends, and that's part of my Apex journey as well. As much as I like to update you guys on what's been going on, I feel like I constantly have to be improving or making progress, or else I'm not, you know, doing well on my channel. I have a lot of things to work on as usual, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!